Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys to hopefully having a better week than I'm having. My apologies. I'm just going to warn everybody in advance. Terrible weekend. There was an accident out here. One of my students is no longer on this planet, and another one, I think he's home from the hospital. I'm not sure, but this is take 4 on the reading. This is freedomthroughastrology.com. I'm Donald Patak. I'm your astrologer. There's my contact information, standard YouTube copyright. No, you may not use my content to train your pathetic AI LLMs. Keys to the reading, part 1. I use constellation based astrology, otherwise known as true sidereal. It's astrology by the visible sky. Tropical astrology fixed the signs to seasons around 1800 years ago or so. Ancient times astrologers were also astronomers, so they looked at the sky, where's the planet, read it there. And in reading the visible sky, there are 13 signs. Between Scorpio and Sagittarius, we have another constellation. It's called Ophiuchus. It's the symbol of the wounded healer. The sign is of a man holding a snake or a person holding a snake by the head and the tail. Snake in ancient times symbolized knowledge. So the knowledge that was gained was healing. Ideal lesson is to heal, is that he was to heal himself of his wound and then heal others with similar wounds. And in using the visible sky, I'm also using the natural size of the constellations. There are some astrologers who will make them all the same size. Mother Nature, divine feminine, divine whatever you believe in their wisdom, made, excuse me, made all the constellations different sizes. Virgo is huge at just under 50 degrees. Libra, Scorpio, Ophiuchus, even Cancer and Aquarius, individually, they're less than 25 degrees. So all the constellations are different sizes. I respect that. And I've used astrological midpoints. Athan Shemanti noted when he was zooming in on some of the IAU boundaries, which are arbitrarily drawn, that they'd put the stars from Scorpio into the constellation Ophiuchus. So what he did was he looked at the zodiac belt, last bright star of Scorpio, first bright of Ophiuchus, what's the midpoint? And then he proceeded to do that with the other signs. So I use the midpoints, I think it's more accurate. I am keys to the reading part 2. I interpret using what's called evolutionary astrology. These are lessons to learn. And in that you have freedom of choice. So yes, you are fated to see these transits. However, you are free to either learn the lesson or not learn the lesson. So I honor that. This is the weekly edition, so these are universal lessons for everyone. So do have some compassion on your fellow Earth travelers. Dates and times are based on the Eastern U.S. time zone, as I do live outside of Buffalo, New York. I'm operating within 1 degree of exact. That makes it manageable for me. If I use a wider, what they call orb, there are weeks where I can get very, very overwhelmed. And if I'm overwhelmed, you're lost. And the software I'm using is Capricorn by Prometheus. So this is the week of February 9th through 15th, 2026. The sun will begin the week in Capricorn and end the week in Aquarius. So welcome to Aquarius season, or the lunar month of Aquarius, whatever you want to call it. The moon will begin the week in Libra and end in Capricorn. So kind of interesting that way. So it is kind of a busy, it is, yeah, especially in the beginning of the week, it will be very busy. We have the last quarter moon on Monday, which was today, the day I'm recording. I tried to record this yesterday. It was even worse. So we do have the last quarter moon in Libra. Our active planets this week, the sun, your core identity, and Mercury, which is learning and communication. Key lessons for this week. We do have a long transit, Saturn and Neptune. So I'll talk about that. And we have one retrograde planet, and that is Jupiter. So let me get my notes here ready. Cats are being a little, whatever cat you want to call them, beverage. Non-alcoholic, it's tea. So this is our week in the overview. Let me get my doodle tool ready. And um, let's start with the moon. So as you can see, the moon is actually, it's actually fairly steady. And we'll see a reasonable amount of time in each of the signs. So it entered Libra actually late Sunday night here in Western New York. So we get all of Monday. So the moon is actually relatively busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday. Our stability, as this goes into Sunday morning, our time of stability will actually be Thursday, Friday, Saturday into Sunday morning, with the moon being in Sagittarius. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and into Thursday, you'll expect rapid fire sign changes. So it's going to be a bit of a roller coaster emotionally at the beginning of the week. With so I say the moon is your soul, so those soul lessons. It's yeah, and hold on a second. It's kind of chilly here. Let me get my blanket up. There we go. Nice fleece blanket. So that's our moon. We do have the last quarter moon, I said, on Monday, where with the moon moon in Libra and the sun in Capricorn. I believe that was 8:54 in the morning. So overall, the moon is actually fairly active this week and will be influential. Let me clear that, clear electrons. And secondly, you see this dotted line. Anything above it is an old transit. So we are finishing off this Venus squaring Uranus transit very early in the morning. And we do have that very long transit. The outer planets, anything Jupiter can be, honestly, but Jupiter on out are called the outer planets, and anytime they're making an aspect to another or transit to another outer planet, that's an important life lesson. So we have Saturn conjuncting Neptune. I'll go a little bit more in depth, but that's like spiritual maturity. And when we're looking at the new transits, which are the ones below here, you can see here's 2 solar, there's 2 Mercury. That's it. New planet transits for the week. And when we're looking at the trends, you can see there's very few. The middle of the week, late Tuesday into Friday, busy. That's it. And then Sunday. So it's not overall an overwhelming week as far as the new transits. We do get some nice breaks. We still are dealing with that long transit, but it's actually fairly manageable, honestly. We have the Mercury with the lunar nodes, which I will talk about. But overall, it's a manageable week. So from last week, we are finishing up the Venus in Aquarius, squaring Uranus in Taurus. Venus in Aquarius, learning to be authentic in your relationships and also in your creativity. Squares are challenges. Their purpose is to strengthen you. So Venus, being authentic in relationships, is strengthening your ability to find your own individuality and find the peace and inner strength that comes with it. The shadow here is being fake. Fake in relationships, slick and manipulative, trying to control other people, being shallow and superficial. And the square becomes a stumbling block. And what are you stumbling into? This, instead of you being who you really are, you're giving your power away to other people. I'm going to say it that way, or giving your identity away to other people. You're selling yourself out, either being a clone and trying to fit in with some crowd with the suits, or you're acting out to get a reaction. And I always say that's the person who gets a mohawk and everybody looks and say, oh, well, he's got a mohawk now, big deal. And then comes in the next day with it bright pink or neon green or something just to get a reaction. So you're being fake in your relationships, fake in your relationships or creativity becomes a stumbling block, and you just become more fake, and it comes across as lazy. It's also possible. I like to do the over under, the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Too much, not enough, just right. Too much is the bull in a china shop. Over too much energy and just ruining everything. Not enough just comes across as being lazy. And in the end, you have just shallow, superficial, and empty relationships, and your individuality just becomes lost to other people's perceptions of you. On Saturday, we have Saturn conjuncting Neptune in Pisces, very long transit. 7th, exact on the 20th, leaves on March 4th. So it's almost a month long. And Saturn is growth and maturity, conjunct Neptune, spirituality. Neptune in Pisces. Don't just do something, sit there. Be present. Learning to be present, be in the moment. Let the future go. Don't worry about the past. Let the past go. Stop worrying about the future. Learn to be in the here and now. So I like to say that this is really learning to be spiritually mature and learning to be aware of who you are and where you are right now. The shadow of this, the shadow of Saturn is fear. It's a control freak. And Neptune, again, we're looking at the shadow of Neptune. It can be a desire to escape, but what speaks to me more here is we're looking at I said it's spirituality. Well, it becomes religion. And to me, this comes across as either the religious fundamentalist, you trying to force your religious beliefs on other people, or the other side of that is atheism, just complete denial and cynicism about all things spiritual. So I would say, I would say atheism or possibly agnosticism. And we also have the moon entering Libra. This happens later on. Hold on, important message. Yeah. Just someone checking in on me, seeing how I'm doing. Moon entering Libra. It's time to take emotionally. It's time to take a breath and take a break. Opening up your life up and opening up to different perspectives, and let life not make sense. Literally, I want to say going with the flow, but more paying attention and gaining perspective, and it's other people's perspectives. And the shadow here is falling into being indecisive, and this can come across as being insecure, and you just won't be taken seriously. We begin the week with the last quarter moon in Libra. This did happen on Monday morning. We can, still be working with this energy for a little bit, but the moon in Libra, we just talked about gaining perception, gaining perspective, being able to see a situation from multiple points of view. The square we said was strengthening, and Sun in Capricorn, self-improvement. The Sun is your core identity. Capricorn is doing the work. Where Virgo is more planning, Capricorn is actually doing. So it's doing the work of you becoming a better version of yourself. So as you're learning to gain different perspectives, this can be strengthening. And how is this strengthening your ability to become a better version? As you're gaining different perspectives, this is also what they call a waning square. Waning means releasing. So as you're gaining different perspectives, you're seeing things from you're thinking things about yourself from a different perspective. That's not really who I am, and I can let this go. And the shadow here is you falling into indecision becomes a stumbling block. And this is where you become that control freak and obsessed with control, managing others and micromanaging others instead of learning self-control. Or this is the person who can tell everybody else what's wrong with them and how they can get better. Meanwhile, they're ignoring, their own problems. Tuesday, the moon enters Scorpio. The moon enters Scorpio. So time to face some unsettling truths about life and yourself, and be prepared to face powerful and intense emotions or conversations. So this will be so Tuesday can be a time of emotional intensity. Shadow here can be falling into a foul mood, create unnecessary complications and feelings of resentment. It can also be just not wanting to feel it all. I'll go there. Also on Tuesday, Sun in Capricorn, sextiling Chiron in Pisces. Again, self-improvement. You're learning to get better as you're learning self-improvement. Sextile is an excitement or interest. Chiron in Pisces is healing the wounds. I'm going to say healing, it can be healing spiritual wounds, or Pisces also helps you see things from a higher perspective. So as you're doing this work of self-improvement, you're understanding these wounds or injuries from a higher or whatever, from a higher perspective, and that helps you to heal and release them. The shadow here, collapsing into the false ego, becoming a control freak and a micromanager. And this creates a nervous energy and I would say overly focused on the wounds and the injuries. So instead of healing them, they become more ingrained in your identity. And it's a deeper wounding of yourself, possibly even wounding others. And it's possible, because it's in Pisces as well. The shadow of Pisces is trying to numb or escape the pain in any way possible. Wednesday, moon enters Ophiuchus, and it's a time to feel and heal emotionally. Open up to healers and teachers who can help you help you heal. And these are emotional wounds. You're gaining knowledge and insight on emotional wounds. And then as you're gaining that knowledge and that insight, you're able to heal it. The shadow here is refusing to heal or using the knowledge to wound others. Also on Wednesday, that's interesting. Okay. Also on Wednesday, Mercury conjunct the North Node in Aquarius. Another message from school. I'll take care of it. So Mercury, and anytime I'm dealing with the nodes of the moon, we have, I did that Friday. Never mind. When you're dealing with the nodes, they're always in pairs. If it's conjunct one, it's opposite the other. I like to show the big picture. So we'll start with the Mercury conjunct the North Node in Aquarius. Mercury in Aquarius is learning to communicate and think independently and authentically. And conjunct the North Node is about your destiny and purpose in life. Key to understanding this is, where is your North Node in the other sign? So it's on part one, understanding what your destiny and purpose is. And then as it's transiting Aquarius, you're learning to make it more authentic and real. And then as it's conjunct Mercury, it's really deep learning, and you're really learning to understand you're learning to understand and you communicate it more independently, more purposefully, and authentically. What else do I have in here? Learn how to communicate on your own perspectives and your own truth. So you're learning your own truths about your destiny. And the shadow here, Mercury can be that person who knows it all or can't learn it all. And conjunct the North Node, you're just either ignoring it or you're in denial. We add an Aquarius to this, and now you're selling that out to the expectations of others. Or you're not even learning about it. You're just, everybody else does. This is my journey. This is what everybody else is doing. I'm just going to follow along. Or do you just act it out in a way just to push buttons? I remember, just as an example, years ago, uh, there's this guy on a radio station. It was a Christian radio station, and he was just blah. He did something that's like, yeah, there I'm speaking in tongues. Like the guy have the gift of tongues. I don't even know what I'm saying, but I just do it random. It's like, dude, why are you not impressing anybody? There's a point and purpose to those, to the spiritual gifts. Learn what they are. I'm off on a tangent, but what's happening here is, and the ideal is, you're learning how to make your destiny authentic to you, and you're learning more about it, and you're learning how to share it authentically. And in the shadow, you're not learning, in fact you're selling it out to other people's perspectives. Whoops. And on Thursday, this is how I really almost wanted it to look. Boy, did I mess these slides up. Oh well. it's it's been a long weekend. um Mercury in Aquarius opposing the South Node in Leo. So as you're learning, communicating authentically, and even about your destiny, you're reflecting on how you hold yourself back with pointless drama. The South Node always shows you how you hold yourself back, and the sign that it's in, the pointless drama. And whether you're acting out over the top or trying to hide away. Okay, who's trying? What's going on? Hey. What you up? One moment. Everybody always beats up on this poor little kitten. It's okay. It's okay, little Smokey. You can stay up here. Okay. So as you're learning about becoming more authentic in your destiny and in your purpose, you're reflecting on how you hold yourself down and back with pointless drama. What's the pointless drama that you use? And again, know where your South Node is on your birth chart. So what's the pointless drama from that particular shadow of yourself? Okay. The shadow of this, again, you're denying the lessons of and denying the lessons, or you're selling out your destiny and purpose to expectations of others. And you're getting this power struggle of really acting out the drama and living it out on the stage for everybody to see. Boy, do you got a lot of static, Clint. This is Miss Smokey. It's a kitten I'm taking care of for my friend's daughter. She's a beautiful kitten. This is your king commercial. So there's some quick information about your destiny this week, and it's about the lessons of learning and communicating it, and becoming more aware of it. Also on Thursday, the moon enters Sagittarius. Open up to fresh expectations and opportunities. Look at Sagittarius likes to get up, go out, and experience the world. So it's being able to open up to new perspectives and opportunities in the world. I think it's a great word for Sagittarius, opportunity. I always tell people, Gemini is like going to the library and reading about like an art gallery or a park or something. And Sagittarius says, let's get up and go to the art gallery and just look at the pictures and get in the environment. Or let's go to the park and let's explore that park. So this is gaining real world experience here. The shadow is getting stuck in the past and defending the status quo antebellum, and being very self-righteous about it as well. And Friday, the 13th, 2026. Take a breath, remember to exhale, repeat. Friday the 13th is only bad if you're a member of the Knights Templar. If you're not a member of the Knights Templar, it's just another day. I am the 13th child of my family. I will be dressed in black this day just because I can. Saturday, welcome to Aquarius season. The sun enters Aquarius. The sun, your core identity, who you are at heart. And I do want to, again, go back to your natal sun sign. Read up on that. What is your natal sun sign? Become aware of that. And then as the sun enters Aquarius, you're learning to become the more authentic version of that. Not what people say you should be, but as you're reading about the sun signs, for example, I'm a Taurus. I'm going to read about what it means to be a Taurus. And I'm going to take notes. This is what speaks to me about being a Taurus. And I'm going to become that. My goal for this Aquarius season is to become more authentic to that, because those are the lessons that speak to me. Rather than letting other people define you, you're learning to define your own natal sun sign and what speaks truth to you. So do focus on your self-image, who you truly are at heart. Let go of the expectations of others. Learn to define your own sun sign. Read up on it, gain all the different perspectives, but what really speaks to you? That's your truth. Find your own inner truths. Be aware of how others try to influence and say, thanks for the idea. Thanks for the opinion. You can keep it. The shadow here is you selling out your identity to the expectations of others, or letting others define you. This results in a loss of identity, loss of individuality, and loss of authenticity. Basically, you become fake. I'm gonna let that other thing go. It's not speaking to me. So you're either learning to become more authentic and more real, or you're giving your power away you're giving your identity away to other people and letting them define you. And on Sunday, we have Sun in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus. Again, as you're becoming more authentic, strengthening, you're becoming and finding the peace and strength. And this is what they call a waning square. So it's releasing. So as you're learning who you aren't and you let that go, when you cut away what is false and you let that go, that strengthens you to become what is more true. So as you're like, this doesn't speak to me, this doesn't, so I can let that go. Oh, this really speaks to me. That now you're more defining yourself and you're making yourself stronger. You're finding the peace that comes from defining yourself. The shadow here, again, is that being that fake person, letting others define you and describe you and define you. It becomes a stumbling block, and the underside of Uranus in Taurus, looking at the easy way out, you're being fake. Either which way, you're being fake. You're being fake and just selling out to others and being lazy, or you're deciding to act out like a bull in a china shop to provoke a reaction. It's like, that's not who I am. I'm really this, and ruining everything for pretty much yourself. Yeah. And also on Sunday, the moon enters Capricorn. Time to face a difficult challenge and accept with commitment, self-discipline, you can find success. So emotionally, and there's a lot in here. You have Pluto, which is transformation and finding courage when it's conjunct Mars. But ultimately, Capricorn is about doing the work of self-improvement. It's not enough to read the book. You actually got to do the worksheets and then do them daily. Gee, I'm learning this skill of using a planner. So every day you use the planner. Never mind, it's challenging and difficult. Capricorn says it's going to be, but as I've heard so many times, choose your hard. It's hard using a planner, but it's also hard not using a planner and trying to keep track. Writing everything down or trying to remember everything. Both of them are challenging. But as you get used to writing things down, you realize the benefits of that. So emotionally, you're up for the challenge. The shadow is trying to control the situation or others, micromanaging, the control freak. And this can lead to feelings of loneliness and also of loss and failure. And that's the week in a nutshell. Do follow me on social media. Hopefully last week was just really hard. I was exhausted. Getting back into teaching has been harder than I thought it was going to be. But I am on Facebook and Instagram. You're watching this on YouTube, but I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I do post my daily deep dives on there. There's also the Digital Soul Space where it's the spirit. It's you call it the spiritual Facebook. It's the spiritual safe space on the internet. I do astrology on there. There are other astrologers, but there's also people who do crystals, tarot, a wide variety of spiritual practices. It's a troll-free zone. We got 4 great moderators. There's a free version. When you sign up, you get a month of the free version, but then there's a paid version if you want full access. We got 4 great monitors that do a great job of keeping content off of the site and keeping bogus content out as well. Somebody actually posted porn and it just I didn't even know that they had done it. That's how good these people are. And I call it the bully free zone as well. It's a great place to ask questions because people will all share what they know they're willing to share. Yeah. I do readings and I have packages. If you want to see how your chart changes from tropical to true sidereal, order the Quick 6. I do the birth chart or natal chart reading, which is your birth contract. It's not who you are, it's who you came here to become. And so it's a map of all the life lessons you came here to learn. I do a karmic or a past life reading. So if you believe in past lives, in previous life, you experienced some trauma that created some negative karma or created some karma, and you came into this life to re-experience the archetype so that you can heal it. So I can help you understand what the archetype is and how you can heal it. If you're one and done, this is a special life lesson you came here to learn. Leave Smokey alone. They're about to get some real bad karma in a minute. I do horoscopes any 12 months in a row, any 3 months in a row, or any 1 month. And this can be first of the month or last of the month, or new moon to new moon, any 30 days. I'll deal with it. And I have packages that combine these in various levels. So thank you very much. I apologize as if this hasn't been my usual perky self, but like I said, it's been a difficult weekend and a very difficult beginning of the week. So do like, follow, share, sign up for the newsletter. If you go to freedomthroughastrology.com, you get a pop-up. All I need is an email. It's a once-a-week newsletter. If you close out of the pop-up, you see up in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see sign up. That's all I need is an email address. Services where you order readings, and there's another one I can't remember off the top of my head. That's how exhausted I am. Scheduling is where you order the packages because we're going to sit down and talk about it. So thank you. Like, follow, share, sign up for the newsletter. Remember, in the visible sky, your life changes. Have yourself the best week possible. Thank you.